Hello, everybody. Welcome to 2022, our first live stream of the year. I'm Barika with B3 Media Solutions.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Verika. Hi,
Hi,
Sarah.
Myra and Brika.
Hello. And as you know, Myra and I are the co-founders, but we actually asked Sarah, who recently got a promotion and works with us in analytics, to join us for today's conversation because it's really exciting.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Of course. So, guys, I am so happy to actually have this conversation with you both, just because in 2022, just this week alone, there's just been so much going on in social. Like, for instance, Sarah, you actually were the one that brought to our attention the green Eminem. So I'm gonna let you get into the green Eminem debacle.
Yeah. So if some of you are familiar with this whole, it's a debacle for sure. I guess, the marketing team at Mars released a statement saying that they were going to change the green M&M's shoes and pose to a more inclusive manner. So, and I guess the green M&M had heels on, was wearing heels that had like a girly pose, and they changed it to a more masculine pose, I guess you could say. And Twitter users weren't happy, so they shared a ton of memes online regarding the marketing strategy, and it was not received well at all. So I found that really interesting because, you take a brand like Mars, for example, and Eminem, of course, and you think, people are going to be happy about this because that's what we want is change. But it was not taken that way at all. People were not happy with it. So I thought
Yeah, when you brought that up and I started reading into it, Sarah, I was like, you know what? This would be a great study for us. I would love to build a topic in our social listening tool and just get a lay of the land of sentiment of like how the conversation spikes. So stay tuned, everyone. We're going to most likely do a study on this, and you'll get to see the results of how consumers were really feeling about this change.
Exactly. I mean, and let's not forget McDonald's meets Elon Musk. I mean, the whole Grimace coin situation also blew up this week.
Yeah.
And what was cool is that one of our other analysts on the team, Andre, he actually wrote a blog. He was so moved to passion to write a blog on this article, on this particular situation, because just even saying something as simple as, when you buy a Grimace coin, caused a bunch of crypto hustlers to create a new coin that didn't exist and put it out there and caused a lot of trouble, and people lost a lot of money around it. So it just goes to show you that community management is key, and knowing what to say and when to say it is always going to be the best practice when you're out there doing your responses to high profile people.
Yeah, and stay tuned for that because that's also another great idea for another social study, right? So,
right, it really is. Well, Andre's blog drops on Friday, so please check out our website and go to the blog section, and you can read more about our points of view on the whole McDonald's / Elon Musk debacle. So, I mean, let's get into the purpose, you guys, of like why we're here. We're talking about social trends. I'm so excited to kind of give you guys kind of like our top social trends that we are talking about this week. We're going to go through 5 social trends. So I'm going to let Sarah give you your first social trend and we can discuss more about it.
Number 1.
So trend 1, socials overtaking TV and streaming apps, most specifically TikTok, and I'll let Barika go dive into that.
One of the things that we saw when we were kind of like researching what trends we wanted to cover was that 57%, that's like more than half, say that they've watched less TV and streaming services since downloading the app. Now that source is of course TikTok, but can you just imagine like more people are watching TikTok and watching stuff on their apps than they are on TV and even streaming like Netflix and Hulu. Yeah. I just found that was very interesting. What do you think?
I saw this, firsthand. I witnessed this with my son. He spends way more time on TikTok than out in the living room watching a movie with me, or because we watch Netflix and all that. So he spends way more time on TikTok. So that is definitely a true statistic. And yeah, it's very interesting because social really has this influence on traditional media. It's like this whole on-demand streaming world. It kind of created this world um, without that synchronized viewing that we used to have with just your regular TV. So it was kind of an end to the cultural gatekeeping. So just social just opened the world up to so many different ways that media is basically reimagined. So anyway,
Yeah.
we're this is just the beginning. We haven't even seen the different ways it's going to change over the next 10, 20 years.
I don't know, Sarah, like just as like a millennial, like I guess, are you watching more TikTok and
I
less
was gonna
TV?
touch on that and say I am guilty of that. Like, I'll find myself if I don't have my favorite show, like a new episode of my favorite show coming on. Next thing I'm gonna do is go on TikTok.
Yeah.
And now it's gotten so bad that I've noticed it that I'm like, okay, I need to start like maybe reading a book or something instead of going from TV to my phone. Like, it's very addictive, and it's definitely taking up more time than me watching my favorite TV shows.
No, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that like one of the main drivers of that is just culture. Like, you've got the Charlie D'Amelios of the world, Sarah Coopers. Like, you have these really large TikTokers, Instagrammers that are creating this content, and people are like, especially the Gen Z generation, millennials, they're really just tuning in and watching it because it's more entertaining than what they have on television. So as a brand, one of the things that I would take away from that is they have to get into that conversation. Like they have to create content that people want to watch on those channels. Because if people are moving away from the streaming services and TV, not saying that you shouldn't invest advertising dollars on those platforms. Yes, you should, but also making sure that you carve out a sizable portion of your advertising dollars on the channels where people are watching, particularly if you are a brand that has an interest in Gen Zers and millennial as customers. So I definitely am keeping my eye out on TikTok. Even the fact that they have their own channel on like Roku, like
Oh,
that was a huge thing for
I didn't
them.
know that.
Sorry guys, we're busy in this office, and so we're always having calls from clients. So excuse us. So that will take us to our second trend. And this trend is actually, we've seen it as a agency, and that social's outgrowing the marketing department. Like, it's no longer just something that the marketing department is responsible for, but we are really starting to see that actually come in the forms of like HR, as well as legal. Just a number of different brands are starting to do that. And one of the things that they are doing, 83%, and this is according to Hootsuite, 83% of marketers are confident about quantifying social media and the ROI of it. So if that's now the case, they've made the case and they've proven that it works. So there's so many other departments that can benefit from it, right?
Right, like you mentioned. So it's sales and customer success. Of course, that's the easy one because um, social is that first point of contact sometimes customers have with the brand. So when the brand interacts with the customer and makes them happy and has that creates that win, that is customer success. But also there's the R&D department, research and development. Social is a great place for that department to get some early feedback. When they're launching a product, they can do it pre-launch, during the launch, and after launch, so they can get that information, that early feedback. Maybe they need to pivot their product a little bit. Are their users running into bugs? So we definitely have seen R&D use that as well. And as well as recruiting and HR. Even as a company like ours, we're constantly looking at people on LinkedIn, but then we're also looking at candidates, on their social, whatever's public. So that's definitely a place for HR and recruiting companies to really use social to help inform their decisions on who they're vetting.
Yeah. So I guess going into the third trend, Sarah, can you talk to us a little bit about this? I think this trend is like near and dear to all of our hearts because we are all inundated with it every day simply because it's the new reality.
Yes, it is the new reality. Well, I mean, I can go into it, Marika.
Sure.
I'll take trend number 3 if that's okay with you, Sarah.
Yeah.
It is the metaverse. It's the new reality, and so we often say, like, what the heck is the metaverse? I mean, well, I did. I was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
I've never personally experienced it. So, what it is, simply put, it's the internet rendered in 3D. So, you can use VR headsets, augmented reality glasses, or other devices and enter a virtual environment where you can work and play with other people. So, one of the things that you can do are this is what was really interesting to me. So you can enter this metaverse wherever, whatever it can be, a gaming universe or a brand can create a metaverse to showcase all of their vehicles, or just aspects of concept vehicles. But once you enter that universe, you can purchase things. You can have digital experience, but you can purchase art, you can purchase digital clothing. And another thing that got me kind of excited about this is, like, I see it. This is a place where there's a lot of cross brand promotion, or collabs with different brands, coming together. One of our studies we recently did, we looked into a metaverse around a festival. It was a music
Yeah.
festival, if
Yeah, it was a music festival.
you did that
Yeah.
study. And that one was super interesting because it was a music festival.
Yeah.
And basically, attendants can go to different themed stages. There were merchandising stands. There were even virtual porta potties that, I guess, if you went to a porta potty in a different themed area, I mean, you would just have a different experience. So to me, in this world of COVID now, where we spend a lot more time indoors, this just seems like the perfect pairing of what's going on in our current society.
And
But
definitely, it's definitely an opportunity, I think, for brands to kind of do something cool, to do something immersive, especially in light of COVID. Like with Omicron, it's still here. Like it's still like a place where people sometimes feel unsafe going out. So by creating these metaverses, and even in workplaces, like I've seen that Microsoft HoloLens has created a virtual workspace that is a metaverse into itself, where you can actually have an office with employees and a desk, and you can talk to your coworkers and actually get work accomplished. They're really trying to bridge those gaps between where you are located versus where I'm located, and people that want to work remotely but still have an office. I think that while the metaverse has the potential to be a disruptor, it also has the potential to bring people together. So brands definitely have the opportunity to kind of like take advantage of that and do something really cool.
Yeah, Brika, I know it's really interesting because as I hear you guys talk about this and talk about, the many different things that have been happening already within the metaverse and just in virtual reality, it just makes me wonder, and, maybe I need to do more research on this, but was this something that COVID, enabled and, kind of, enabled to happen quicker than they had planned? Or was this always in the works and we just, didn't know it yet? Because just even with the pandemic and everything shutting down, and people, even brands that weren't even online yet, having to switch gears and learn the online world, social media, the internet, and like e-commerce. I just wonder like how all of those things came together, and if they came together because of COVID or just naturally. That'd be interesting.
I think that it was really before the COVID happened. Like,
Okay.
like people don't really understand what it is. And so you have Facebook, who changed their name to Meta, because they are really going all into this metaverse. But it was really around before COVID happened. Like a lot of companies like Microsoft were using virtual reality and AR. Like it was around to a smaller degree. But I think COVID really kind of like brought out the necessity to kind of create this other universe, where you could be and engage with people, your friends, stay connected, even if we are far away. So I definitely think that, like, people are trying to stake their claim. They're selling real estate. You can get you can get a job in the metaverse. You can get your own
So crazy.
businesses in the metaverse. So it really is kind of like this wild, wild west right now of what's going on, and the larger players like the Metas, like Fortnite, Microsoft, like they're really trying to get in and kind of like put stakes in the ground of like what it is. But I don't know if they can. I don't know if it's something that can be contained, much like the internet.
Guess we're gonna have to find out.
That's true. Which brings us to our next trend, Trend 4. Now, Trend 4, I think we kind of touched on this earlier, but TikTok is actually taking over Facebook. Yes, even Facebook, and that's just on paper. Now, we saw a lot of headlines that were like, it's now the most downloaded app, taking over Facebook. While it doesn't have the most amount of users just yet, it is slowly taking over, just on the way that people are shifting from social being a supplement to now being mass media, as we've seen with TikTok having a place on streaming apps like Roku. It's taking over because people are watching it more. It's taken over because people are actually seeing that it is a platform where they can not only engage and watch television and watch movies, but they're also engaging more. Like, engagements are higher on TikTok than they are on Facebook. And, you've been noticing a diminishing return on engagements on Facebook for a while now. Myra, I'm thinking that a lot of that may have to do with like Gen Z. What do you think?
Oh, definitely, it's Gen Z. I mean, they're all about the digital. They're actually all about their phone, and so the
Yeah,
fact that TikTok's on your phone, it's easily accessible, short snippets, super digestible, and it's funny. And the things that are trending, or they can learn so much. Like I'll go back to my son. He's like learned so much. He's learned recipes. He's cooking stuff from what he sees on TikTok. So, I mean, it is fun. Sometimes it can be it really sucks a lot of time out of your day, but it is an area, a place where you can learn. And the Gen Zers are just really driving that. It's just shifting to this place where you want your entertainment, you want it quick, and you want it now. But
exactly.
we're just seeing even the brands that are jumping on this, like Netflix, ESPN, they are taking notice, and they have been taking notice for the past couple of years. And there are definitely strides in developing influencer partnerships that are I guess they're trying to figure out how to break into the whole TikTok platform without feeling like, okay, you're not supposed to be here. So they're trying to really partner with a lot of influencers who are already popular there. So that is a trend that we're also going to see more and more this year, is all these partnerships, and they'll be interesting because the ones who trend or who go viral are the ones who are like have this creative, genuine, authentic content. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that all lands.
I mean, Sarah, do you even have a Facebook page?
I do, but do I use it? No. I mainly had it, obviously to stay in contact with family and friends, but I mean, now I don't even open the app. And if I do, it's probably for, our company reasons. But that's honestly really it. Yeah.
But
TikTok,
do
Instagram
you
are the
know, like, I guess, how would you like to see brands using TikTok? Because as like, as someone who really knows the platform really well and is on it, like, a lot of brands are inauthentic on the platform. They're trying to make this really polished
yeah,
product, but like, that's not really what TikTok is about. And
100%.
I think that a lot of brands miss. But how do you think brands should be using TikTok?
I definitely agree with you, Brika and Myra as well. She mentioned, not only tying in the creativity to it, but also being as authentic as you can, because that's what we relate to. And that's honestly why I feel TikTok is as big as it is, and it's only going to get bigger because of how, vulnerable you can be on the app and how accepting the community is on TikTok. And I think, once brands understand that and start, promoting and pushing out that type of content that can really resonate with people, they're definitely going to have a long time audience, a very broad and loyal audience, actually. So I would love to see that type of content being pushed out for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you touched on something very important there, Brika, is that that polished and really what is it called, the highly produced content.
Mm-hmm.
That is not what resonates or gets the Gen Z or the millennials attention. It's something that's very raw, that looks, just shot on your phone, like quick and
Yeah.
easy. So,
Yeah.
so brands are really going to have to transition to that type of format. So
Exactly. And I
I
think too, to your point, Myra, I think also the prioritizing the channels, like that's a big thing. Like I've seen brands that we work with begin to deprioritize Facebook and channels like that, and now are moving over to using Instagram and TikTok as like their primary channels, and maybe just kind of like putting things on Facebook, like, maybe once or twice a week, because they're seeing more engagement, and the people that they're trying to connect with aren't on the platform anymore.
right.
So I definitely think looking at your channels and prioritizing the ones that are working, prioritizing the ones that actually have the audience that you're trying to market to, is going to be key in 2022, especially with the rise of TikTok.
Definitely.
So I am going to allow Sarah to introduce our final trends. Sarah, take it away.
All right. So the last trend of 2022 would be consumers taking over the conversation. And I think that ties in perfectly with what we were just talking about, just staying as authentic as you can be, not only with the content that you're pushing out, but also the engagement and the community management part of it. So like listening to your consumers, listening to your audience, and really hearing what they have to say and what they want, and just solving their problems for them. Because obviously at the end of the day, the consumers are right, the customer's always right. And that should always be the brand's goal.
Exactly.
And what I think, what's also part of that is it's really about user generated content. So
Yeah.
that's going to continue to grow
Yeah.
because people are becoming more knowledgeable and more, I guess, just open to videotaping themselves and just
Yeah.
putting content out there. And so that will continue to grow. And so that's going to take a larger role overall, I think, in marketing strategies. Like if people are generally showcasing something, a product that they really love, and tagging the brand, it's that the brand's opportunity to find that content and then incorporate it into part of their marketing strategy, because it's the real people's faces that will capture the real people's attention. So I think that's going to be really important. And there's just a lot of opportunity there for customer collaboration. So customers who are advocates of the brand. So it would be ideal for the brands to really identify those customers who are advocating for their products or their services, or just showing a lot of love towards the brand. It would be ideal for the for a partnership there. Another partnership that really can capture a different audience
Yeah.
and give them that real, genuine content that's not highly produced or overly, looks like it has a large budget. So,
Well, I
that,
mean, and that ties in perfectly, Myra, with like what we do, like kind of just like how we work with brands to just do social listening. Like the best way for you to have understanding and always on understanding is by social listening, because as we stated previously, all of these departments benefit from social listening, understanding what customers are saying, understanding what's the gap that your product or service could potentially feel, how they feel about your product, and things that are wrong or right with your product. There's so much that social listening kind of like really gives you, and UGC is just a part of that, to be able to find those nuggets, to be able to find those pictures and videos from consumers who love your brand, even those who are detractors. I think that that's immensely helpful, because if I know that maybe I don't offer clothing that fits to plus size consumers, maybe I need to go and find that clothing that they would like. Maybe I need to make sure that I have enough of it that they would want to wear my brand. So I think that there's just, even though consumers are taking over the conversation for brands need to be proactive and look into social listening, so that they can not only understand the consumers, but use that content that they're creating for their brand. So, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. We are super excited for the upcoming live streams. Myra, I don't know, what do you think we should pitch for our next live stream?
Well, let's see. We work a lot with partners, and one of our partners is a marketing PR company. So I don't know. I think it would be a good discussion, and talk about how we use social listening and social listening, digital analytics in partnership with marketing and PR companies. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea. There's definitely the synergy that is between PR and social, and it's something that's underutilized. So I definitely think we should kind of capture that the next time we have a live stream.
Yeah.
And if you haven't noticed already, please go to b3mediasolutions.com and learn all about social listening, social media monitoring, and we are offering a free 30-minute consult with anyone that is interested with learning more about how they can use this type of a service for their brand. And before we go, I just want to make sure that we reiterate our top 5 trends, because I think that they're really important and key trends that all brands really need to kind of take notice of and find ways to integrate into their overall social strategy. So our trend 1 was social is overtaking TV and streaming ads. Trend 2, social outgrows the marketing department. And you could see a bevy of different departments that social would be ripe for. Trend 3 is the metaverse is the new reality. Trend 4, TikTok trumps Facebook, at least on paper. And the last trend was consumers taking over the conversation. So thank you guys immensely. It's been wonderful having this conversation with you. I can't wait to do it again. Please remember to go to b3mediasolutions.com and get your free 30-minute consult.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Myra and Barika, again.
Bye, Sarah.
You're so welcome. And we'll see you guys next time.